Okay, let's talk about that moment. You're staring at a blank page, and those two words, dissertation proposal, are just looming over you. It feels like this massive, impossible mountain, right? Where do you even begin? Well, today, we're going to take that blank page and turn it into a clear, confident blueprint for your success. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get into why this document is so incredibly important. Then, we'll break down all its core parts. After that, we'll look at how you craft the actual story of your research, build a rock-solid plan, and finally, how to stick the landing to get that all-important green light.
All right, first things first, let's get one thing straight. Your proposal isn't just some random academic hurdle your university makes you jump over. It is, and I mean this, the single most critical tool you will create on this entire dissertation journey. It's your map, your guide, and your safety net all rolled into one.
So what is it really? Well, think of it like an architect's blueprint for a building. A dissertation proposal lays out exactly what you plan to study, why it's important enough to study in the first place, and precisely how you're going to do it. And here's the crucial part. You figure all this out before you write a single word of the actual dissertation.
Now, you might be wondering, why are universities so insistent on this? Honestly, it's as much for your protection as it is for them. It's a checkpoint to make sure your topic is focused and relevant, that you can actually finish the project in time, that your methods make sense, and that your research is ethical. They also need to know if they have the right supervisor to guide you. Getting a no here is a good thing. It saves you from a world of pain later on.
Okay, so we get why it's important, but what actually goes into one of these things? Let's take a look at the complete anatomy of a research proposal.
Whoa, okay, don't let this list freak you out. I know it looks long, but every single part has a job to do and they all build on each other. You've got the title, intro, and research problem. That's your what and why. Then you have the aim, objectives, and research questions, which is basically your destination and the GPS directions to get there. After that comes the real meat of your plan, the literature review, your methodology, and your ethics statement. And you finish up with the practical stuff, a timeline, your expected outcomes, and of course your references. See, every piece has its place.
So let's start with those first few sections. I really like to think of this part as crafting the narrative, the story of your research. This is where you grab your reader and convince them that this project absolutely needs to exist.
And it all begins with a title. This isn't just a label, it's your first impression. It's the handshake. It has to be short, sharp, and super specific. It needs to tell your supervisor everything they need to know right up front. The topic, the context, and the main things you're looking at.
Just look at this example. It's perfect. In one sentence, you know everything. The topic is Instagram influencers and fast fashion. The specific group is Gen Z. And the context? London. Boom. A title this specific doesn't just sound professional, it also puts a fence around your research, which is so important for keeping your project manageable.
Once you have a title, you have to answer the biggest question of all. What is the actual problem you're trying to solve here? What's the point? And that's the whole key right there. All good research has to tackle a specific problem or fill a gap in what we already know. Your project can't just be a random exploration. You have to find something that's missing from the conversation or something that's misunderstood. And that gap, well, that's the whole reason your project exists. Next up, you need to state your destination. That's your aim. It's the one big main goal of your study. You only get one. Then you have your objectives. Think of it this way. If your aim is the city you're driving to, your objectives are the turn-by-turn directions you'll follow to get there. They're the small, specific, measurable steps.
This leads you to a really important fork in the road. Are you going to be asking research questions? Are you testing hypotheses? And the answer depends completely on your type of study. If you're doing qualitative work, exploring things, you'll use open-ended questions like what, how, or why. But if you're doing quantitative work, you'll use a hypothesis to predict a very specific relationship between things that you can actually measure and test.
Okay, so you've told the story of what you want to do and why. Now comes the part where you prove you can actually pull it off. This is the nuts and bolts section, the part that shows your project is practical and achievable.
First up, the literature review. Now listen, this is really important. For the proposal, this is not the giant exhaustive chapter you'll write later. Not at all. Its only job right now is to be a concise summary that proves two things. One, you've read the important stuff, and two, you can clearly point to that research gap we talked about.
This brings us to the absolute heart of your practical plan, the methodology section. And trust me, for a lot of supervisors, this is the most important part of the whole proposal. You have to clearly lay out your path. What's your overall approach? Qualitative or quantitative? How will you collect data? Surveys, interviews? Who exactly will you study? And finally, how are you going to analyze all of the information you gather?
And right alongside your methodology, you have to talk about ethics. This is completely non-negotiable. Your university has a duty to protect people, so you have to show exactly how you'll get informed consent, keep data private, ensure anonymity, and above all, guarantee that no harm comes to your participants. A weak ethics plan is a guaranteed rejection.
And to prove your project is doable, you need a timeline. It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple week-by-week plan, just like this one, shows your supervisor that you've actually thought about time management and that you have a realistic plan to get this whole thing done on schedule.
We're in the home stretch now. The last few sections are all about finishing strong. These are the final touches that really show you're a serious professional researcher and that your work has real value.
So, the expected outcomes section. This isn't you getting out a crystal ball and predicting your exact results. Not at all. It's your chance to talk about the potential impact of your study. How could your findings help your industry, or add to academic theory, or maybe guide the next person who researches this topic? Basically, you're answering the question, so what?
And last but definitely not least, your references. Please never ever forget this part. A properly formatted list of all the academic sources you've used is fundamental. It proves your credibility, it shows you've done your homework, and of course, it keeps you from plagiarizing.
So let's just wrap this all up. Your dissertation proposal is so much more than a box you have to tick. It is your research plan, it's the tool the university uses to see if your idea has legs, and I promise you it will save you a massive amount of stress down the road. Just remember this, a strong proposal is the foundation for a smooth and successful dissertation journey.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. You now have the blueprint. You know how to build a powerful research plan. The only question left is, what's that first gap you've noticed in your field that you want to be the one to explore?
This GPT checks assignments only for referencing accuracy. It detects referencing style, checks consistency, and matches references. Safe to use. It does not write assignments. Made to help you reach the distinction level. Follow AssignMelo for more amazing videos. Contact us for coursework help and guidance.